Jimmy, let's open with a view of the market in general, your assessment there.
Well, I mean, the market's been fairly quiet, just continuing the trend with previous weeks. You know, a lot of the counters have been flat. We've gotten the most significant movement has been with Puma Energy, but that's more in line with likely the mandatory offer that's anticipated, which is up 17% week on week. And you know, I mean, just overall looking at it from the beginning of the year, it's been a similar trend. The biggest movement has been with Zambia Sugar 9.2%, and on the other side of the scale, Standard Chartered is down year to date 24%. So a fairly slow market, and you know, the trend seems to be continuing.
I was talking earlier about the Kenyan market, and they were saying how much foreign investors have been in the Kenyan market, particularly East African breweries, where 95% of the activity yesterday was from foreigners, and on the Kenyan exchange as a whole, 70%. What's the situation on the Zambian market with foreign interest, given that investors are looking for returns that they can't get in developed markets and need to be alert to other opportunities?
Yeah, well, that has remained to a large extent slow. And you know, I mean, it's just not a trend that started recently. It's sort of a trend that picked up from last year. There is selective interest in a couple of counters. So you'll be looking at CEC, Zanaco, the more liquid counters. But you know, relative to where the activity was in prior years, in 2010 and 2008 was more of a peak. Foreign investment has still remained relatively low, and I mean the broader market has also remained relatively low in terms of turnovers, in terms of volumes.
In terms of results, Lafarge Cement, that's a name that is known beyond Zambia, of course. Their results are out?
Yes, Lafarge recently published their results last week, actually. And for a bit it went up to 8,400 from 8,005, but it's come back down to 8,005. And basically there were fairly good results. Turnover was up 19%, operating profits were up 74%, which is significant. Profit after tax was up about 70% as well, and that's largely due to a strong performance in terms of exports and also domestic sales, which accounted for about 70%. So as of last year, H2 last year, they've been operating at full capacity, and likely if that trend continues, they should continue to post fairly good results for the rest of the year.
Jimmy, we were talking to Paul Hansen earlier from Stanlib in Johannesburg, and I mentioned that we would be crossing to you, and he said if you go to Zambia, there's a lot of activity, a lot of building. There are cranes, there is activity. So there must be companies that are set to benefit from this. Is it true that the Zambian environment is seeing some building and expansion?
That's absolutely true. I mean, the results, Lafarge's results, are a testament to that. And you know, despite they're getting quite a lot of demand from Burundi and from the Congo, but to a large extent, I mean, 70% of what they're producing is still locally consumed. And what management says is that, the trend has shifted from more of your large construction type projects to actually consumer type projects. And, that keeps on happening. Historically, Zambia has had an infrastructural lag. And so you've got malls coming up, and there's also large infrastructural projects in terms of power and in mining, of course, which is the mainstay. But yes, there certainly is a lot happening in that sector.